We are back at Sun Valley Lanes in Lincoln, Nebraska for the boys Class B state championship match between the Plattsmouth Blue Devils and the Hastings Tigers. Great to have you with us. It's been a terrific day of state championships in high school bowling already. We have two more matches in the day, Class B and Class A, and they will both be terrific matches, and you will see some outstanding bowlers from some of the best high school bowlers the state of Nebraska has to offer. For the introductions in Class B, let's go to Craig Carver.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to the Nebraska High School Bowling Federation Boys Class B State Championship. Today's matchup features the Plattsmouth Blue Devils and the Hastings Tigers. First, let's introduce to you the Blue Devils from Plattsmouth High School. A freshman, Jared Sweet. Junior, Dusty Quay. Senior, C.J. Kessler. Junior, Jordan Hedriba. Junior, Joel Beckman. And your captain, a junior, Tim Eminem. The assistant coach, Tom Beckman, and the head coach, Ken Eminem. And now for the Tigers from Hastings High School, a freshman, Jared Gattel. Junior, Brett Christian. Freshman Mike Pierce. Junior Ryan Pettit. Junior Trent Berg. Your senior captain Mike Rothfuss. And junior Mike Schmidt. Assistant Chris Christian, and the head coach of the Hastings Tigers, Butch Hogan. Gentlemen, good luck and good bowling.
Oh, they're about as good a bowlers as they are comedians. It should be a good one in Class B. Plattsmouth and the Hastings Tigers coming up next on NET.
I always tell people it's one of the most amazing wildlife experiences that they'll ever have.
You can look up in the sky, and every single square inch of the sky above you will have a crane in it.
I've studied hundreds of species of birds, really, but just the thought of seeing the cranes in the spring, I can hardly wait.
Coming in March to NET1.
This is Terry Gross, the host of Fresh Air on NET Radio. I'll be speaking in Lincoln on April 10th at Pershing Auditorium. It's a benefit for NET Radio and Television. For tickets, call 402-441-7766.
Let's go, faster!
We're just the kids next door that have a calling.
Being a Marine isn't just a job. It's a state of mind.
Let's go.
We're warriors. That's what we do.
Why are you walking?
Marines run to the sound of the guns.
A look at the distinctive culture of the Marine Corps.
If you do something wrong to the country, we're the last people you want to see coming at your door.
Marines know that what they do is a brutal business, but they never lose their humanity.
Wednesday night at 8 Central Time on NET1.
And welcome back to Lincoln, Nebraska, Sun Valley Lanes for the Class B Boys State Championship between the Hastings Tigers and the Plattsmouth Blue Devils. This should be a terrific matchup. Both teams playing extremely well yesterday. Here are your lineups for the Blue Devils. Kent Eminen is the head coach, along with Tom Beckman, the assistant. C.J. Kassikirk, Jordan Hadraba, Dusty Quaid, Joel Beckman, Tim Eminen, and Jared Sweet. That's the roster for the Blue Devils. For the Tigers, Trent Bird, Mike Schmidt, Ryan Pettit, Mike Pierce, Brett Kristen, Jared Gottel, and Mike Rothfuss. Rothfuss, the only senior on that squad. It should be a great one. Hastings comes in, the #1 seed, had the highest qualifying score in yesterday's Bakers. Plattsmouth battled their way back during the Baker finals. They qualified 6th overall, which is surprising for the Blue Devils, who had dominated Class B for the last 2 years, but struggled early on. So Hastings will get it started. Trent Bird, the 181 average, and he will turn it up. And Bird buries the first shot of the match.
That was some hand there, Larry.
Now Joel Beckman, the junior from Plattsmouth, averages 186 for the Blue Devils. He's inside as well. Pulls it a little bit, but gets away with it.
What we've seen in the first 2 matches in Class C and D, we've seen fast starts. And we've seen the old caveat of spare shooting come back to nip a lot of these teams in the bud. So we need to, oh, a little pull up there. That was pretty good. Great idea. You don't want to,
absolutely,
especially when you're ready to fall over your pant leg. Might not be a good shot, a good idea to pull the trigger on that one, but you'll see it a lot on the PBA Tour. If something goes wrong with your approach, you pull up. As long as you don't go over the foul line or release the ball, you can start over as many times as you want.
And another Brooklyn.
That was worth the balk there.
So now C.J. Kassikirk. Real first name Cassius.
Who his parents' favorite boxer was. He
wasn't Joe Foreman.
No, it wasn't. But CJ is big enough to be a boxer or maybe a lineman and on a football team, and he just was a little fast there on his approach. Didn't get quite the hand in the ball that the previous shot. He needs to just cover his spare. The 1 and the 2 needs to go straight at it. He's got to hook a little more there. All right.
CJ's a pretty intense guy. I've been watching him all year, going for Plattsmouth at tournaments, and he is an intense individual.
This Plattsmouth team's well coached. Probably the dynasty, you might want to call it, in Class B boys bowling.
Inside, and leaves the big 4.
4, 6, 7, 10. Pretty much not impossible, but very unlikely to pick up. Need to go for 2 and save your count.
Now Jordan Hadraba, the junior from Plattsmouth. Hadraba averages 170. A little more direct player. And he'll have that for his spare, the 5'9". And here's Mike Pierce. And Pierce gets the 2. Good decision early on, especially on a strike. 2 is worth 4. So Hastings, after the double, goes open. And avoids the chop. This is Brett Kristen, the junior out of Hastings, son of assistant coach Chris Kristen. That goes Brooklyn. It also leaves a 5'9". Yes. Now here's Dusty Quaid.
Remember him from last year, state championship team. Between him and Michael Snell, they pretty much made him unbeatable for the last several years for Plattsmouth.
And a good cover. So early on, a 7-pin advantage for the Tigers from Hastings. Through 3, 52-40. That slides by, and that advantage will grow. 18-pin lead now for Hastings. Here's Mike Rothfuss. Rothfuss, a lefty. Leader of this Hastings squad. He won the conference singles. Has a high game of 279. Very deliberate up the boards for a lefty. Slides that 5-pin out. A little fire there as well.
Well,
he's excited about that.
It's an emotional game. Great shot.
And a nice shot there by Eminen. Tim Eminen, the captain, and the son of head coach Ken Eminen. So after 5 frames, now they'll switch sides. Hastings on top by 18, both with strikes working in the 5th. Trent Burge wastes no time, and Burge leaves the 2-10. Makeable spare, but certainly not easy. Here's Joel Beckman. Beckman comes up light. And he gets the 1. So a chance to pull it a little bit closer for the Blue Devils, who were down at one point by 18. And here's Beckman. Joel Beckman with an average of 186. He's a junior. This is a young Plattsmouth squad. Just one senior on the team. And a good cover by Joel Beckman. Great to have you along in this Class B state championship match between Plattsmouth and Hastings. Glad we could bring you the Boys State High School Championships right here on NET2. The first ever televised state championships. First of what we hope are many. And another 210 that got a little wide.
Seeing the oil carry down the lane now. These have been freshly reconditioned before this match. Oil starting to travel down the lane, delaying the hook at the ball, the hook of the ball at the end. And I'll say it's not the first gutter ball we've seen today. But sometimes CJ electing to play a little further out towards the edge. You live and die by the gutter. He just take his time.
Tough gutter on a spare. They had started to climb back into it.
Take a breath and throw a strike, which will just count as a spare. Much better shot.
16 again.
Everybody kind of looks a little lost out there, Larry, when it comes to the comfort level of where to play the lanes.
So it's a 17-pin advantage for the Tigers. 109.92 through 7, both squads with open in the 7th frame. And a nice toss by Mike Pierce, just a freshman. That's an impressive-looking freshman with a lot of hand for a young kid.
Absolutely. High game of 255, high series of 662. Plattsmouth needs a strike to get back in it, and they get it.
And he trips that 4-pin forward. A nice shot by Jordan Hadraba. That brings up Brett Kristen. You always see Brett with that smile. Pretty cool demeanor. High game of 267, and he shot a 704. Really fires through the shot.
Oh.
That angle he comes in at, that's... Saw him yesterday in the qualifying leave a couple of those where you somehow inexplicably managed to snap that 3-pin right out between the 1-6. So 5-2 on the strike. Hastings will hold on to that lead, but it's going to tighten up here, especially if the spare can be converted, and it's not. So some tough sledding early on for both of these squads. 3-pin advantage going into the 10th. Hastings up 123 to 120. 133. 133 to 120, so a 13-pin advantage. Imminent, a little more direct, a little more inside.
Just to recap from yesterday, these gentlemen were bowling on a different lane condition pattern, bowling on what's known as the cheetah pattern on the PBA Tour. They have 5 or 6 different patterns, and they assign names, animals' names to those. And the cheetah pattern is noted for being much shorter, much less oil. And I think everybody is just kind of adjusting from the difference of how they've had to play the lanes and the speed to what they are going through today with this heavier oil pattern here at Sun Valley Lanes.
So the first game will go to the Hastings Tigers. The Tigers knocking off Plattsmouth in game number 1 and taking a 1-game-to-none lead in this best-of-5 Bakers match. So Hastings is on top. All right, look at those 5 looking on. As you see, 9-pin count there.
That was Mike Rothfuss being subbed in for a Phil Ball, or I'm sorry, Mike bowled earlier. Mike won the conference singles out there in their conference in Hastings.
We had a quick peek at the crew along the near side a second ago. There's another look at them from left to right. You might recognize some of these guys. Carl Nix, Philip Dillard, linebacker for the Huskers. Brandon Johnson, Maurice Purify, second from your right. That's Keith Williams. You see Mo Purify, second from the right. He was out here bowling on Thursday at Sun Valley Lanes. Shot 300. Legit. Mo Purify can bowl, folks, not just catch passes. 300. So they decided to come out and watch these Class B boys bowl. What a thrill it must be for these guys as well. They're used to watching the Huskers on Saturday. They look over in the stands and they see 5 Huskers sitting there watching them.
Well, I tell you what, athletes at the University of Nebraska and a lot of other schools, be surprised how many of the football players and basketball players are great bowlers. They need to spend time and fill time during off times when they're not studying or on the field or on the court. And been several of them that have bowled, that have been great football players in Nebraska and have come in not only to here at Sun Valley, but other places in Lincoln have bowled and have done real well.
You know who else is a pretty good player? It's Corey Ross.
Corey Ross, that's
Corey
right.
Ross is a good player. Returning punts this year for the Ravens. Saw a little time in the backfield for Baltimore.
And everybody remembers Jerome Bettis, the bust that played for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Jerome was a very accomplished bowler with a 300 game to his credit. So you can be an athlete.
I think they drilled a ball out here for Maurice Purify right before he shot that 300 at Sun Valley Lanes. Corey Ross.
Well, they're starting to realize that this is a different lane pattern than what they bowled on in the prior qualifying rounds on Saturday. CJ Katzenberg with a spare there. So I think they're beginning to learn that they must go a little more direct, not only at the pocket, but at their spare shots. A little more direct. Need to do that. So this young man here for Hastings, Mike Pierce, just coming in a little high. He's a freshman, Larry, with a 662 high 3-game series. Plays baseball and basketball out in Hastings also. So just
good-looking player.
Yep.
Coach Butch Hogan, who's been the coach for Hastings for the last 5 years, said that he really came on late and earned a starting spot as just a freshman. Didn't have that starting spot when he came in. A nice shot there by Jordan Hadriba for Plattsmouth. Hastings still with a 1-pin lead. Need the spare to keep it even, and chopped it.
Well, on the left side of that lane, just left of center, not really way out on the left side, but just left of center, you're going to get a little more friction. As that ball headed towards the pin deck area, the friction of the back end carried it into the 2, too firm, not to take out to 5. Good shot there by Plattsmouth Joel Beckman. Excuse me, I'm sorry, that was Dusty Quaid.
Gets a little bit of reaction there that time.
Oil moving around the lanes and changing the way their bowling balls react. Needs to go straight at the spare. Tried to hook it in there. It looked like you might have lost it a little bit at the downswing. Set it short. When you're setting it short in bowling, means you're letting go of the ball too soon. You should get the ball out at least 12 to 18 inches over the foul line to get proper lift and leverage on the ball. And unfortunately, it looked like Brett there pulled that right off his hand. So I think the
two teams playing giveaway.
Yeah, television lights, a little nerves, state championship on the line is making everybody just a little nervous and not quite sure where to play on the lanes.
Hastings with 3 straight opens now, trailed by 10 through 4 frames, 55-45.
Boy, you saw right there, that's Tim Eminen, and he usually just has enough power to just saw the rack in half. And by sawing it in half, we mean that we send pins going in every direction. That ball definitely didn't finish very strong at the pins, so large amount of oil is causing everybody just to be a little more tentative in their shot making.
And there's the lefty, Mike Rothfuss. Pulled it a bit. And here's Eminen, captain of this squad. Just a junior. We talked about how young this Plattsmouth team is. C.J. Kasserkirk is the only senior. And missed the spare. 4 juniors on this Plattsmouth squad. Hadra McQuaid, Beckman Eminen, all juniors, and then the freshman Jared Sweet, who will, unless there's extreme circumstances, probably will not see time. And that's pulled as well. Back and forth giveaways. We now have 4 straight opens for Hastings, 2 in a row for Plattsmouth, and an 11-pin lead for the Blue Devils. And this is where the coaches kind of regroup, regather the kids. Let's get back on it. So Trent Berg, who has a 700 and a 279 this year to his credit, is up on the left lane. And he hits it hard. Good shot by Berg. Joel Beckman. And Joe leaves the 1-2. Now up on the left lane for Hastings, that's Mike Schmidt. Mike was part of that JV squad the last couple of years as a freshman and a sophomore that won back-to-back junior varsity state championships. Yes, there's a JV state tournament as well. That'll be held the weekend of February 24th and 25th in Hastings, Pastime Lanes, where Butch Hogan is the proprietor. Butch also is the head coach of the Tigers.
See a lot of bowling proprietors in the state, Larry, that double as the high school coaches as we get further along in this endeavor to get bowling in as a recognized high school sport as the NSAA. I'm sure regular coaches, other coaches will take hold of the programs, and the proprietors are busy, lots to do. They do a great job of giving their facilities away almost for free to these high school kids to allow them to participate in this sport, and a large financial and a time investment in this.
Well, there will no doubt be, as Hastings and Plattsmouth and many other schools making it here in the finals, and the kids will go back home and let everybody know they're going to be on TV. There will no doubt be athletic directors and administrators and superintendents across the state watching these finals and seeing what a terrific job these young athletes are doing. And so many of these kids, 90%, as much as 90%, don't participate in other high school activities. So what a great opportunity to get those kids involved in high school. And there's so many positive benefits, as athletic directors know, to being involved in high school activities, bowling being one of those.
Oh yeah, it's an amazing figure. When we started this endeavor, we were surprised at how many of the students that will be bowling for their team do not participate in other sports like baseball or basketball or drama or track or whatever. And so athletic directors and activities directors and principals really like the fact that this keeps kids in activities, organized activities, keeps them off the streets, out of trouble.
Hadriba, ringing 10 on the right lane. You know, and so many parents who are watching would wonder, well, why, if that's the case, why, if the athletic directors all like it, why isn't it an NSAA-sanctioned sport?
Well, you know, Larry, it's an education process, and in this day and age of tight school budgets and change, a lot of consolidations of schools, you know, athletic directors are usually already an overworked administrator that has a lot on his or her plate. Might be teaching a class or coaching a sport at the same time, especially in the smaller schools. So, it's just an education process. The great thing that high school bowling brings to a potential high school is it brings another opportunity, obviously, for kids to be involved in activities. We've talked about that. It's a low-cost sport in respect to football, basketball, other sports where there's a high financial investment. It's very low compared to that. It's a boys and girls opportunity, which is good. So it's just a matter of getting to the conference athletic directors at their meetings and NSA meetings to just get the word out.
So there's Dusty Quaid with the shot. He left the 2-8.
Pierce from Hastings, I'm sorry, Larry. Pierce from Hastings has been, he's now 3 out of his last 5 of strikes. He had to split the prior frame. So if he covers this, it's going to keep Hastings right where they want to be. And, he switched bowling balls in that shot. Try to take a bowling ball that's a little more direct, will not hook as much, and still didn't get it over there on that side of the lane far enough.
And a good mark by Dusty Quaid to give Plattsmouth the lead. So the Blue Devils in charge. On top by 13. Hastings to have a chance. They need Rothfuss to throw a couple strikes. Wow. Great shot by Rothfuss right when they needed it. He's fired up.
Blow a fuse there.
Tim Eminen. He's been in this situation before.
Boy, Plattsmouth is really struggling with the amount of conditioner on the lanes. Both their ball speed is way too quick, plus they need to be more direct at the pocket, and they just have not figured that out yet.
Just tighten up the line is really all they need to do.
That was a big strike for Hastings as they...
136 is the best that he can shoot. If he throws this, he's going to force Plattsmouth to mark. And he does! Brooklyn!
And a double dribble at the same time, Larry. Bounced that one off the foul line and directs it in. That's going to wrap the match up. Or, I'm sorry, not quite yet. Has a chance to either force a tie, but either way, Plattsmouth must convert this spare, which they do.
And so here's the situation. They are dead even, and it comes down to this count ball. Dead even, both teams at 126. Whoever has the most pin count here wins game number 2. We have a possible tie situation once again. Ooh,
wow.
7 pin count after throwing 2 in a row. Seven to tie, 8 to win. Here's Eminen. Can Plattsmouth even it up? They do! Nice shot by Tim Eminen.
All tied at 1, Larry.
And Plattsmouth wins it 135-133. All tied, as you said, Steve, all tied at a 1 game apiece. We said we thought this was one of those matches that had the potential to go 5, just like the girls' Class A state championship in the last match we saw, which was the boys' Class C. Had some terrific finishes today. If you're wondering,
I'm sorry, Larry. Both teams still kind of feeling the way out in the lanes. Just a matter of getting a little more used to the lane conditioner pattern and just the way their bowling balls are reacting. Everybody just seems still to be a little confused.
hooked a little more than Burge thought it might. Joel Beckman. Nice shot. Can't trip that tin. Just won't go for him. Burge with the spare attempt. And he got it.
Changing balls there, going to a ball that goes straighter, more direct. Good choice. Seen a lot of cross lane spares missed. Plattsmouth needs to pick these up. Very good.
Had a good cover there. So both teams out quick here in game number 3 with marks. If you're wondering how they got to this point, the Hastings Tigers knocked off in the first round the York Dukes 3-0. And Hastings moved into the semifinals last night and beat the Seward Blue Jays 3-1. By the way, Seward got to the semifinals by beating Pius X 3-1.
Heard it was a coaching breakdown that cost Pius the chance at the TV show.
That's exactly what it was. And a nice shot there by C.J. Cassaker.
Boy, for dumping one on the channel earlier, that was a different bowling ball, number 1 that he used, and a whole different part of the lane surface.
Yep. Much more direct. Here's Mike Pierce, the freshman.
Different bowling ball for Mike, too. Looks like he switches something that might hook a little more. I think everybody is all still struggling with the heavy amount of oil. Good news is he left an easy spare with just the head pin.
Back in the old days when you were bowling, that would have won you what? A set of
car.
tires?
No, a car.
A car, is that right?
It was a Pinot back in the old jackpot bowling days at Leisure Lanes in Omaha.
I thought for sure it was a Model T.
Yeah. That's going to be a tough spare for Plattsmouth.
Was it really a Pinot?
It was a Pinot for years, and I wasn't old enough to be bowling at that time. Larry, I was one of the kids that ran the scorecards back to Joe Patrick, and if you shagged scores for Joe, you got an ice cream cone.
Well, you know what?
So.
The funny thing about that is there are people all around the state nodding at what you're talking about, right? I think we all remember those days of Let's Go Bowling and Sunday morning show. You've never missed it.
Well, it actually started back in the 60s and 70s with Strike It Lucky at the Rose Bowl with Mike May, the old KETV in Omaha weathercaster that doubled as the bowling announcer. Then it was Sunday's jackpot bowling at Leisure at 12 noon, PBA tour at 2 o'clock on Saturday afternoons. It was pretty much tied up my whole weekend watching bowling, but you never dreamed back then that high school bowling would be this popular. It's the fastest growing high school sport out of all the sports, even established sports like football and basketball and other sports, soccer, volleyball. High school bowling has experienced an explosion in growth in all the states. 19 states now currently have it as varsity recognized, including Kansas and Iowa.
You know, it's interesting to hear you speak about bowling in that regard because back when we were kids, that was the sport. You know, you did watch it all weekend. And it did take a bit of a decline, but it is absolutely back on the rise again.
I'm sorry, Larry. The PBA Tour, when it was in its heyday on ABC, had ratings that outranked NBA basketball, college basketball. About the only thing, of course, it had struggled against was football, but it's just an entertaining sport to watch. And seeing these high school kids now, people will just be enamored with how young they're starting. Boy, Plattsmouth just having a heck of a time with still the spares and involving getting the ball over to the left side of the head pin. Hastings taking the lead.
Oh, won't get the 10. Got the 6 out. But that's a 13-pin advantage through 4 frames for the Tigers. 67-54 through 4 frames. Now in the 5th frame, here's the captain, Tim Immonen. And he got that a little right. Almost looks like there's an out-of-bounds area that they're finding quite frequently.
Well, I think as you play outside that first arrow area on the right side of the lane, there definitely is an area where the bowling ball just will not recover, will not move all the way back to the pocket. Straight at the 10-pin. That's a cross-lane spare for the left-hander Rothfuss. That's big. That's going to put him up by more than 20 now.
And a good cover by Immonen. So both teams mark in the 5th frame. Now they'll switch lanes for the final 5 frames of game number 3, all even at 1 apiece. Hastings Tigers winning game 1. Plattsmouth came back and took game number 2, and the Blue Devils, of course, are your 2-time defending state champions. Plattsmouth won it in 2005 and 2006. Of course, they had a pretty stellar bowler on those squads back then in Michael Snell. Michael, of course, now bowling for the University of Nebraska. He was the captain of the United States High School Bowling All-Star Team.
Comes from a bowling family. His dad, Mick Snell, had Limerick Lanes in Plattsmouth for years. His grandpa, Neil Snell, who's now passed away, built the bowling center in Plattsmouth, had one of the largest youth programs in the state for just a 12-lane bowling center. Just a huge program. Neil and Ruth Snell just did a fantastic job down in Plattsmouth and raised a grandson that was a heck of a bowler.
Had a good cover there by Joel Beckman. So both teams marking in the fifth and the sixth frame. Still a 14-pin advantage for Hastings. Here's Mike Schmidt, and Schmidt with a nice shot, and he's a little excited.
You now see the Hastings boys now, Larry, are now figuring it out that you've got to go straight, almost straight at the pocket. The conditioner on the lane is going to carry the ball down the lane. No need to swing it way out. You notice CJ there. You see him more direct in the pocket. His first two shots were way outside. Sometimes when you bowl at your home bowling center, you're used to the lanes reacting a certain way. Well, it just takes a little time to get acclimated to the surroundings and what you're bowling on.
So now here's the freshman, Mike Pierce.
Boy, what a nice release. Nice cupped wrist. He switched to a different bowling ball. I think that's a more aggressive bowling ball. By aggressive means it's going to have more friction and it's going to attack the lane a little harder and hook a little more. He'll probably eventually have to either move a little further inside or pick up his speed to get the ball down the lane.
Hadruba. He leaves the 2-8. And the proprietor for Plattsmouth, Stars and Strikes, Larry Rissling, allows the Blue Devils to bowl out of that house.
And that has been a complete makeover. The Snell family, when Neil passed away, ended up giving up the business. Son Mick obviously grew up in the bowling center, had a full-time job with Nebraska Public Power. Sold the bowling center to Larry Rishing. Larry has redone the bowling center. Just fantastic. It's beautiful. If you're down and around the Plattsmouth area, you've got to stop and see Stars and Strikes. It is just a fantastic facility.
And there you see the score, 22-pin lead for the Tigers. Hastings on top and leading here in this third game. It's all even a one game apiece. Quick work by the Sun Valley crew to get the pin out of the gutter.
Right now, I think Hastings is probably in a better position to continue to move ahead in this match. I think they've got the lane condition situation just figured out more, but the minute I say that, Brett Kristen comes up and leaves the 2-8-10. He has also changed bowling balls again, so a little bit of experimentation still going on.
Well, that's a nice shot there by Dusty Quaid, but the one player who's struggling a bit for Hastings is Brett Kristen, and he is not playing as direct on the lane.
So we talked earlier in the match about what's called the belly or the head belly. When you talk about belly in the game of bowling, when the ball comes off your hand, if you're a right-hander, what you need to do, especially today where the lanes are so slick with conditioner, you need to get the ball direct and up the lane. By head belly, the ball comes off your hand and goes to the right, away from your body. With the amount of conditioner on the lanes, Larry, the ball cannot recover because it's too slick. And I promised my friends at home I'd use a Bo Burton word, the lubricity of the lane, Larry. Causes the ball not to hook. And it's actually true. It's the lubricity, the amount of conditioner, has lubricated the lane so much where the lane just doesn't allow that ball to recover and get to the pocket.
On the left lane, Tim Immonen needed a strike for Plattsmouth to take the lead. He leaves the split and now needs to pick this up to give him a chance.
Straight, hard, and direct.
Goes aggressively, but comes up short, so Hastings is going to take a 2-1 lead. They've already got it wrapped up.
Boy, this has just been an exercise in fishing is what it's been, trying to get your comfort level out there to where you can line up and throw strikes. And there hasn't been anybody that's consistently done that yet. We've seen in the Plainview Wisner match, it seemed like the lanes were a little more conducive to those boys' games. And, you know, it's just a matter of seeing who's got their feet underneath them and who has the most confidence when the ball comes off their hand. But it's going to come down to spares one more time, Larry.
The lefty, Mike Rothfuss, will close out this third game of the Bakers with a strike.
Nice arm swing, very straight. That's probably the best arm swing that we've seen today. Very straight, locked elbow. Arm straight behind him, doesn't wrap around his body.
A 180-161 win for the Tigers, and they now lead 2-1 as we head to the fourth game. The Tigers, with a win in Game 4, can wrap up a state championship, and what a frustrating run it's been for the Hastings Tigers here in Lincoln at Sun Valley Lanes. They have come down here year after year and been in contention, but never been able to make it to the state finals. I was talking to Butch Hogan, the head coach of the Hastings Tigers, earlier. Butch was saying that in the last 4 years, they've been first, and second after the qualifying round and not made it to the finals. And so to finally get there this year was a huge relief.
Well, in Baker-style bowling, as you're seeing, you've got to have all 5 of your teammates clicking. Sometimes in standard bowling, in a standard game, when you have 5 bowlers each bowling their own game, 1 or 2 hot bowlers can carry your team through and get you through to the next round. But in Baker bowling, you've got to have all 5 of your members clicking.
Well, this guy's certainly clicking, and that just missing that. He was 4 of 6 for strikes before that shot. Now 4 of his 7 shots have been strikes.
Trent has probably the strongest release of anybody bowling out there right now.
Here's Joel Beckman.
And still,
doesn't get back.
The Blue Devils are struggling with getting that ball back to the pocket, back to the head pin area. Big spare attempt here for Trent. Changing balls, going across the lane. Wow.
Whoa. Well, that's another 6 inches on that lane, and that's going to be in the channel.
Big grin there by his teammates. I think they all thought it was going to go on the gutter, but C.J. Cassikert.
Well, he's been on fire since switching balls and moving inside. That's 3 in a row, I believe, for Cassikert.
He's moved into the part of the lane where he should be, right in that worn area, the track area of the lane, around the second arrow. Another good shot there. Just a little slow on the speed. He made the saw him kind of make the gesture as he turned around off the approach. So he was a little too slow with the speed. Now, here's where spares are going to win it for you. Hastings, if they can't strike, they've got to convert their spares to keep Plattsmouth back on their heels.
Plattsmouth making some fashion statements. Hat really can't get the messenger to trail. You see the pink shirt and the green shirt underneath. A couple of green shirts under the blue bowling shirts.
Well, you know, it's you have to look good when you bowl.
Well, you know, if you wear it once and you do well or you win, you can't you can't change it. You don't wash it either, obviously. Maybe that's why it's pink.
It probably was white at one time. Cross lane now at the 10. Big spare for Plattsmouth. Well done. Straight at it.
So that'll bring up the freshman Mike Pierce. Pierce has moved a little further outside as well.
And you saw Mike release that ball. When he came to the foul line, when he let go of the ball, he actually turned his body to the right. That's a sign of your approach being just a little faster. Being a little fast. Big strike there by Plattsmouth. Getting back into this. When you let go of the ball, Larry, if you're doing it right, if you look back at the greats, you look at Earl Anthony, you look at Dick and Pete Weber, their toe is perpendicular to the foul line, forming a T. And what you saw there with Mike Pierce prior to that, you saw him turn, which is a sign you're getting your feet a little fast, and that caused that ball to go right where he was aiming, to the right.
So that'll bring up Brett Kristen, the junior. A little more inside, a little more direct, and he gets the messenger coming across the lane.
There's that smile his
Knocks
parents are talking about.
So a 2-pin lead for Plattsmouth right now, 47-45, both teams on strikes. Here's Eminen.
Anchor bowler for Plattsmouth. Got to turn it up a notch here. There he goes.
Looks like something with a little more surface, and he went outside and is now playing a little more direct as well. So that's a double for the Blue Devils. See if Mike Rothfuss can answer.
Wow.
He does.
He's been right there for Hastings all along.
So both teams on doubles and a 2-pin lead for Plattsmouth as they switch lanes for the second half of this fourth game. Hastings on top 2-1. What a great day we've had of state high school championships here at Sun Valley Lanes. Not a bad shot by Berg.
Picks up his spare ball there, ready to go cross lane at it. Plattsmouth with a chance to take the lead with a strike.
Joel Beckman.
Oh, tough break.
Ooh, this time it does go in the channel. Well, that was an opportunity. As we said, Hastings came in the #1 seed. Seeded based on your score after 4 qualifying games. So on Saturday, they bowled 4 games. High score qualifies #1. Then they seed you 1 through 8, and you bowl Baker's bracket finals. Plattsmouth was seeded only 6th. Bit unusual for the Blue Devils.
Well, you know, Michael Snell carried that team, and rightfully so. I mean, one of probably the top youth bowlers ever in the state of Nebraska. And you know, sometimes you can ride that hot horse and get you through, and they did for several years. But they're a young team, and they all throw the ball very good, and they're going to be right there every year. More of a reload situation is what it is. That's the first time CJ's been that wide since he made that move inside, made that ball change.
Yep. Well, we have a tight game, 103-102. Plattsmouth on top through 6 frames. And now Hastings marks in the 7th. CJ will try to answer. We said before, CJ the only senior on the team. Needs to hook a little, and it does. Nice cover. There you see the score, 103-102, both teams on spares. Here's the freshman, Pierce. Ooh, bad break there.
You heard his coach say, good ball, good shot, good ball. Not his fault. Put the ball right where he needed to put it. Just one of the bad breaks in the game of bowling. Get the 1 pin and get out. Plattsmouth trying to give it right back to him. Dead even right now.
120 apiece in the 7th. Well, we found out how important those single pins can be earlier.
And now that cost him 2 pins in count. So this spare, Larry, will give Plattsmouth the lead.
So Jordan Hadraba wipes some oil off the ball, wipes the oil off his hand, and gets set. Fire at the 136.
Right straight at it, using a normal strike target.
Pretty good shot
in
there.
the lead.
So with 2 frames left, it's a 10-pin advantage for the Blue Devils. Blue Devils looking to even things up at 2 games apiece. And a nice shot by Brett Christian when he needed it.
Puts him right back in it.
Dusty Quaid.
Dusty has struggled trying to turn the tide. He does.
That's a big shot.
Rothfuss coming up here, Larry, in frame 10, has only had 1 open frame so far today. Anchor bowler.
Down by 12, needs a strike. And he does.
Put the ball into the hands of the person you can count on the most.
And that's exactly what they needed. Now Eminem needs to answer.
Plattsmouth controls their own destiny right now. With a strike here, they're going to be right there. Oh, man, and that is a difficult spare. 2, 4, 5, and 8. The dinner bucket, they call it.
180, the best Plattsmouth can have. If he strikes here, if Hastings strikes here, they're going to win the state championship.
This is the money ball right here.
A strike for a state title. Can Rothfuss do it? Not enough.
Keeps Plattsmouth in the game. But he's got to convert this spare.
If he doesn't convert, Hastings can still win it.
Oh,
he chops
no,
it
that
off.
might have done it right there, Larry. Let's let Rob add the scores up here.
And Hastings has won the state championship.
It's a winner sitting on the
does
bench.
it. Well, you know, you never like to win it like that. But you like to win it a whole lot.
That's a winner.
And congratulations to Hastings High.
You know, we've seen that 2-4-5-8 combination miss several times. And when you've got the ball going so straight in the center part of the lane, but the minute you pull it just a little bit, Larry, the ball takes off going to the left. I mean, that is a tough spare. It's twice or more times difficult than even going cross lane at a 7 or a 10. But, you know, low-scoring affair. It came down to who made the least amount of mistakes.
Thank you. So that's it in Class B. The Plattsmouth Blue Devils losing to the Hastings Tigers 3-1. The Tigers are state champs in Class B. We'll be back with the awards presentation in just a moment.
Brought to you in part by the Ellen and Marcia Baer Foundation and by the Nebraska High School Bowling Federation, encouraging high schools to sanction the sport of bowling across Nebraska.
Programming provided by Nebraska Public Power District. Success is achieved through commitment. Commitment is the hallmark of champions. Champions are those who never give up. The Nebraska Public Power District congratulates those individuals and teams who persevere. You are all champions. Nebraska Public Power District, always there when you need us. Together with your local public power utility.
This program is brought to you by the Nebraska Soybean Checkoff. Soy biodiesel is a soy-based, clean-burning, renewable fuel that can be blended with petroleum diesel to reduce America's dependence on foreign oil. Soy biodiesel, making a difference for Nebraska's soybean farmers and you.
Don't miss the 2007 Nebraska High School Swimming and Diving Championships this Saturday afternoon at noon Central Time. Watch the best live on NET1 and NET-HD, Nebraska's home for sports.
Ed Mapp grew up during the Depression.
We were poor, but we didn't neglect the things that are important. I was fortunate enough to have givers in my community. So today, I support the things in which I believe. One such thing is public television.
Ed included his public television station in his will. Consider joining the community of people who want public television to span generations.
Invest in the future. NET and Nebraska.
Welcome back to Sun Valley Lanes in Lincoln, Nebraska, where the Hastings Tigers have knocked off the two-time defending state champion Plattsmouth Blue Devils. Let's go to Craig Carver for the awarding of the trophies.
All right, let's hear it again for the Plattsmouth Blue Devils and the Hastings Tigers. Now for your medal and trophy presentation. First, the 2007 Class B runner-up Plattsmouth Blue Devils. Assistant coach Tom Beckman and head coach Ken Eminem. Jared Sweet. Dusty Quaid. CJ Kassaker. Jordan Hadrabah. Joel Beckman. And Captain Tim Eminem. Congratulations, Plattsmouth, on a great year. And now, the 2007 state champion Hastings Tigers. Assistant coach Chris Christian and head coach Butch Hogan. Jared Gatto. Brett Christian. Mike Pierce. Ryan Pettit. Trent Bird. Captain Mike Rothfuss. And Mike Schmidt. Congratulations to the 2007 Boys Class B State Champion Hastings Tigers. Gentlemen, here's your championship trophy.
So congratulations to the Tigers. They've been down here 5 times, always close, never the champ until 2007. The Hastings Tigers win it. Class A is coming up.
Coverage of the Nebraska State High School Bowling Championships is made possible in part by the Nebraska Public Power District, NPPD, always there when you need us. The Nebraska Soybean Board, encouraging the use of renewable biodiesel fuels for a healthier environment. For information, nesoybeans.unl.edu. And by the Nebraska High School Bowling Federation, NHSBF, promoting bowling across the state of Nebraska. To order a DVD copy of either the girls' or boys' Nebraska State High School Bowling Championships, call toll-free 800-868-1868 or visit the NET web store at netnebraska.org. Click on Shop NET.
This is NET2. Coming in March to NET1.
Save this Tuesday for science.
We've been able to reconstruct migration.
And suspicion.
I don't always take the government at its word.
For surprises.
We didn't find what we thought we would find.
And secrets.
That's the nature of government. They don't want you to know.
Save your Tuesday for Nova and Frontline. Starting Tuesday night at 7. America's Stone Age Explorers and News War.
And welcome back to Sun Valley Lanes in Lincoln, Nebraska for the Class A State High School Championships between the Lincoln High Lynx and the Columbus Discoverers. This should be a great one. The Lynx, the defending Class A state champs. Columbus has been the dominant team in Class A throughout the season. A battle of 2 great teams in our final boys championship of the day. Let's go to Craig Carver with the introductions.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Nebraska High School Bowling Federation Boys Class A State Championship. Today's match features the Lincoln High School Lynx and the Columbus Discoverers. Let's meet the Lynx from Lincoln High School. A senior, Brett Brown. Senior, Michael Selvage. Senior, Michael Roberts. Freshman, Sheldon Canavy. Senior, Justin Meyer. Senior, Sean McGinnis. And freshman Ben Nevity. Your assistant coach Bill Jacobs and head coach Les Amory. Now for the Discoverers from Columbus High School. Sophomore, Jordan Eckholt. Junior, Brandon Esch. Sophomore, Justin Eckholt. Junior, Seth Daniels. Senior, Derek Brandt. And junior, Andrew McCarthy. The assistant coach, Rich Thurley, and head coach, John Eckholt. Gentlemen, good luck and good bowling.
All right, thank you, Craig. The Class A State Championship moments away right here on NET.
The Nebraska legislature is back in session, and you can see live gavel-to-gavel coverage on NET2 or by logging on to netnebraska.org. Listen weekdays to NET Radio for in-depth reports of what's making news from Nebraska's lawmakers. Watch, listen, or log on to NET and be more informed.
The amount of energy that it took to destroy this airplane, it's mind-boggling.
Next time on Frontline.
Who is leaking this information?
The high cost of the war between the White House and the press.
So you're ready to go to prison?
Well, ready is perhaps not the appropriate word.
News war. Watch Frontline.
Tuesday night at 9 Central Time on NET1.
Sun Valley Lanes in Lincoln, Nebraska. Now the Class A Boys State Championship, and this pits the defending state champion Lincoln High Lynx and the Columbus Discoverers. Let's take a look at that Lincoln High roster. Les Amory leads the way for the Lynx, assisted by Bill Jacobs. Ben Navity is just a freshman. Michael Roberts, Sheldon Cadavy, Justin Meyer, Sean McGinnis, Michael Selvage, and Brett Brow for the Lynx. For the Columbus Discoverers, it's led by John Eckholt and his twin sons, Justin and Jordan, Seth Daniels, Brandon Esch, Derek Brandt, and Andrew McCarthy, averaging 211 on the season. Should be a great one. Lincoln High, as we said, your defending state champs, and Columbus has been the dominant team throughout the season. And boy, as you watch Columbus this week and we watched them warm up, Steve, they looked impressive.
They just ran over everybody in Class A, pretty much whoever they bowled. But the Lynx are the reigning two-time champs. They could be the second team today to go for the three-peat. The McCool Junction ladies did it in Class D this morning. And Les Amory knows how to position his team to get them in striking distance to win. But there's Columbus out of the gate hot.
Justin Eckholt starts it off, the sophomore. Well, here's a good-looking freshman, Ben Nabity. High game of 276, high series 728. Just a freshman.
He's an honor student, 276 high game, but just good, smooth form.
Oh, and you know what the best thing is? He's left-handed.
Well, I tell you, it just depends upon where you're at and where you're bowling, but it can be a huge advantage to be a left-handed bowler, just like it is a left-handed baseball pitcher.
Yep.
The Eckholt twins are out of the gate fast with back-to-back strikes. John, the dad, and the coach, I'm sure proud of his boys.
Well, Michael Roberts wants to hook a little bit. Didn't quite get there.
It says here Michael's the vocal team leader, so we'll probably see him leading the charge in the settee area as the Lynx compete.
Brandon Esch got it a little wide.
Good count on the double, though. That could have been a lot worse with 8 pins on the double. That's not bad enough pin count to cost you some points, and good spare there as he points to the crowd. Giving them a little love.
So Esch, the junior now, attacking that 1-2 and got it. Oh, Columbus up by 9 early. Here's Sheldon. And Sheldon with the strike.
Nice, smooth arm swing. Not a lot of speed on the ball, but plays right down that track area. And as we said before, Larry, the pin action here at Sun Valley Lane's just phenomenal pin action. Derek Brandt now for Columbus. Right there. Great shot. Wow. You see why they've been so tough all year.
And now Justin Meyer, the senior. 3 years on varsity. High game of 279. Justin is a up-the-boards player. Very direct. Tugged out a little bit.
Well, just as we saw in earlier matches, around the pocket, up the boards players. You don't have to hook it a lot to be successful. Still pins are falling there for Columbus. You know, they use a golf term. You drive for show, but you putt for dough. Got to have every club in your bag. You got to have all your shots on the lanes with you. So down and in is certainly the way to go if it works for you. Usually less room for error.
And a good shot by Meyer. Covering up the spare, and the Lynx are clean through 4.
Could be looking at maybe our first open frame here. We see how the Discoverers handle this cross-lane baby split, the 3-10. Need to put the ball between the 3 and the 10.
Andrew McCarthy attacking it.
Very
Got
good.
it. What a shot. Andrew McCarthy, the junior, averages .211 on the season. And now Sean McGinnis, the anchor bowler for Lincoln High.
Another smooth stroke.
Yeah. Lynx have yet to have an open through 4 frames, and McGinnis can make it a clean first 5 with the spare here. And a good cover by Sean McGinnis. You know, yesterday, at one point of the match, I think it was in one game, the Lynx, who qualified 6th out of 8 teams, had 24 opens in one game. Les Amory, who you see there with his back to us, pulled the guys aside and just lit into them. Got their attention in a hurry, and they came back, and look how they performed in the Bakers.
Well, it's like turnovers in football, errors in baseball. You've got to make your spares. You just have to do that.
And so much of it can be mental.
Sure.
And when you get focused and you can grab those kids' attention, it obviously worked for Les.
Well, Lincoln High has been here this is their 3rd year in a row. 4 out of 5 they've been here, so they know what it's like to compete under pressure. Columbus, a little bit of a new environment. Boy, a great shot there.
Well, he's a good-looking player for just a freshman. Columbus up by 10, 107-97. And a good mark by Eckel. And here's his twin brother coming right behind him.
Cross lane again. 2 for 2 in those spares. Les has got his team tuned in. If they're not focused tonight, it's hard to tell because they've been very good covering their spares. No errors.
Ooh, that made it a little more difficult.
Yes, it did. And, both those Eckel boys throw the ball pretty firm with their speed, so they need to be almost right at the pocket. They're a little right at pocket. That ball's not going to hook, just like that. The ball, and you can see a little bit of a confused look there from Derek. I'm sorry, that wasn't Derek. I apologize. That was Michael.
What a
great cover.
Boy, 2 split conversions through 7 frames, and everyone is clean through 6.
This is going to be an exciting finish here to the long broadcast day, Larry.
Got it.
Good spare there.
Well, this is good high school bowling. Both teams clean through 7 frames. And right now, because of the double of Columbus out of the chute, they're on top by 12.
It's got to hook a little. Another 2, 4, 5. Compared to what these boys bowled on yesterday in qualifying, they're seeing their balls not hook nearly as much as they did yesterday. Smooth form there by Sheldon.
Sheldon Kadavi.
But you're seeing the same outcome.
Kadavi, Sheldon Kadavi, the freshman. Another good cover.
Now, Sheldon, with his smooth speed and not a lot of hook, needs to just about get the ball right on line with the 3 or with the 2 and the 5. Let the 2 take out the 4. There's a little right of there. It's got a hook. Boy, Larry, I'm sure you saw that from your vantage point. That ball never wrinkled.
Yep. So that's the first blemish in the game for Lincoln High. A little more direct, and this split conversion will be much more difficult for the Discoverers. Going into the ninth, it was a 22-pin lead for Columbus. Weston Meyer coming up just light. Gave it a run.
Boy, Larry, this has just been a great day. High school bowling. It's the people at NET have just been over backwards for us to get this broadcast on the air, and we're so thankful to them and so many others that made it possible. Obviously, the people here at Sun Valley Lanes, John Lucido, you can't talk enough about him as the proprietor and also the commissioner of high school bowling in Nebraska. This is as good a quality of a production as the ESPN people do for the Pro Bowlers Tour. And the great thing is these high school students get to experience this. And listen to the crowd. They're going nuts.
So now Lincoln High put in the position where they have to strike out. Here's McGinnis. Brooklyn, he does.
The first one.
Needs to strike out to force Columbus to mark now. If Columbus throws a strike here, it's over. Strike here by Andrew McCarthy, and Columbus takes game 1.
Looks like it came off his hand. He kind of knew it was right all the time.
Still a chance.
Still a chance for Lincoln High.
Sean McGinnis needs this one. Pulled it a little bit. Just tugged it inside. So the Discoverers will take game 1 over the Lynx. Discoverers shoot 188 in game number 1. Lincoln High 178. So a 10-pin win by Columbus, and they take game number 1 and on top 1-0. Columbus got to this championship match with a couple of 3-1 wins. Of course, we're talking about a best-of-5 Baker format. All 8 teams that qualify for state are bracketed and seeded 1 through 8. 8 versus 1, 2 versus 7, so on. And then it's a best of 5 to see who advances. Columbus knocked off the Northeast Rockets in their first match yesterday. And then the Discoverers took on the North Star Gators. Beat them 3-1 as well.
Oh, good shot there by Justin Eckholt. Moved that 10-pin, couldn't knock it down. Make sure they're cover the spares. Smooth lefty there. There he just got a little fast with his feet. Pulled the ball, got to the foul line before the ball. Pull the ball across your body. It causes the ball to go high.
And Eckholt's on the one.
Well, John Eckholt, the head coach and also the proprietor of Westbrook Lanes in Columbus, where the Discoverers bowl out of, said both of his sons are strong spare shooters. You need that to compete in bowling, whether it's on a single basis or a team.
Well, that's interesting. One of the twins has the higher game, the other with the higher series. And a nice shot there by Jordan.
Well, I'm sure if they're like my kids, they grew up in the bowling center and got lots of free bowling on mom and dad. Help hone their games. Ooh, tough spare. 2-4-5-8, the dinner bucket again. You see a little bit of a befuddled look there on Michael Roberts' face, and I think he's just trying to talk to Coach Amory and say, you know, Coach, what am I doing? Ball's not finishing, not getting in the pocket. Les needs to tell him to move his feet a couple, 2-3 boards to the right, go more direct at the pocket, get that ball up into the 1-3.
Nice strike by Brandon Esch. Roberts trying to pick up the bucket, needs a lot more hook than that.
Really having a tough time getting the bowling ball across that heavy oil pattern in the center. What you may see on the Pro Bowlers Tour is you see a lot of the pros today go dead straight at all the left-hand side spares and do not hook them over there. They usually get either a plastic ball or a different ball and just literally throw a knuckleball, Larry, right dead straight at the spares on the left side so they don't have to go over or through any either large amounts or small amounts of oil in the center of the lane. Same thing.
And Cademy, same thing for him, as you just said.
Wow.
Freshman.
You can just see, and it's been a trend all day, you can just see what's happening. You see in practice, and you see right out of the gate when the lights come on here for the first game, the bowling ball's hooking in the pocket, and they're all beginning to tame down because of the amount of conditioner going further down the lane closer to the pins. Delays the hook in the ball.
A little more direct, and this time on the other side misses it.
Talked about errors.
A couple of young bowlers on that Lincoln High squad of a bright futures. Not only Cademy, but Ben Nabity as well. Here's Andrew McCarthy, the junior. Boy, what a great shot that was. 4-bagger for Columbus. Discoverers threatening to run away with this. Now you will see Lincoln High begin to be much more deliberate and take their time. When your opponent is on a string and really starts getting hot, as you see Justin Meyer getting a little excited.
Sending a shout out to his peeps there after that strike. Comes back into the crowd to give a few high fives. Oh man, great shot. Probably the best shot we've seen so far on the right side. Just right in the preferred area of the lane around the 10th, 12th board. Just a ringing 10.
Most teams at this level, though, not above. Just gets it. I was going to say not above a little gamesmanship, and that's why you slow down, take your time when the other team is really starting to string them. Make it a little longer. Don't let them get in a rhythm. Don't let them continue to get up and throw great shot after great shot.
You can do some things, while the other team's up there that are, of course, sportsmanlike.
Yep.
Trying to throw off momentum. That was a great shot. He's got quite a bit of ball speed, but boy, Ben Nabity just has a textbook arm swing. Good release and form at the foul line. Justin just rushed the line there a little bit.
Might have hung up in it a little bit too. Looked like he. A 54-pin Discovery lead.
Made a ball change there. That was Michael Roberts for Lincoln High. Changed to a bowling ball. And, you know, he's come up light now every shot the first game and in the first part of the second game here. So obviously it was an over-adjustment on his part. Another spare by the Eckholt boys. Oh, my. He's just not comfortable out there right now. You can tell. That should have been just pretty much right down about the same strike target area, right down just to the right of the center of the lane. Wow.
And a nice shot by Jordan Eckholt.
That's the buzzsaw there. Sent all the pins to the left kickback. There was no chance of anything standing there. Smooth release there by Sheldon Kadavi. Good form, nice pace, doesn't rush the line.
Well, and Kadavi is just a freshman, high game of 289 in a 673 series.
I think Les Amory is going to be very thankful that young man came out for bowling at Lincoln High. Hang on to him. Can you leave early from high school to college? Can you declare early? Guess there is no early draft. Good spare. Saw what he did there. Took some revolutions off the ball, almost threw a knuckleball at it, and that's how you do it, folks, just like that. Straight is great when it comes to your spares. Now, right now,
66 pin lead in the 7th. 167 to 101. That's not going to get back. And you see Les Amory talking it over with Justin Meyer.
Well, Larry, you know, we've done this now for several years, and I'm going to have to think back to when I can remember the last time that one of Les Amory's Lincoln High teams were down 2-0. I know last year was exciting, came down to the 10th frame again. Actually, Les's son, Steven, I think, had to strike
struck
out in the 10th to win the state championship. Dramatic finish, but right now the Discoverers have got the commanding lead. They're going to make the Lincoln High boys perform in Game 3.
That was over Lincoln Northeast last year. What a match that was. Here's McGinnis. He's coming up light a little bit too.
Yeah, Oil's definitely going down the lane. Les needs to tell the boys to square up to the foul line. Keep your shoulders parallel to the foul line so you're in a straight line both ways. That gets the ball down the lane without that head belly we talked. You got from Columbus here, Andrew McCarthy. So a lot more hook and a lot more hand and can do that and bring the ball back. It's also using a bowling ball that is less shiny. We didn't really talk too much about equipment on the show today, but obviously the shinier the bowling ball, the more skid or delay of hook you're going to get on the lane. And you look at bowlers like Sheldon Kadavi, who's using a shiny ball, but his speed is a lot less. Well, you see these bowlers using dull bowling balls without as much shine. They're going to grab the lane earlier. It's like snow tires on your car.
This is Seth Daniels getting into the game, the junior for the Discoverers. And you also saw right before that, that was Michael Selvage, the senior from Lincoln High, also getting a shot in the state championship game. Les Amory already has his group in a huddle behind and encouraging them. They're not out of it. We've seen teams come from 2 down before. But frankly, this Columbus team looks pretty good.
They picked their spares up, Larry. That's a clean game, 225 to 136. But you know what? It's Baker Bowling, so the cumulative score, the total, doesn't matter. It's 2-0 right now for Columbus. Lincoln High just got to come back and take one shot, one frame at a time. Pick up your spares, stop giving away pins, and hopefully get a few strikes mixed in there.
Well, the other thing that is so impressive is you take a look at 2 games for Columbus, they haven't had an error yet. Not one error through 2 games. That's the splits don't count as errors.
Okay. Sure about that.
I'm positive.
My bowling team on Wednesday nights make me pay to the kitty when I miss on the splits. I'll have to tell them they've been figuring that wrong all these years.
You let them know they owe you a lot of money.
All right, plus interest. Well, I tell you, it's about an even Steven crowd here when it comes to who's here for the Lynx and who's here for the Discoverers. But John Eckholt might be getting his first state championship here for his Columbus Discoverers if they can maneuver their way through one more game. Just watch how smooth and straight that arm swing is. Straight up. Oh,
can't get that.
He's either shot at 7 pins or 10 pins or 6 pins this afternoon.
Justin Eckholt. And he leaves the fourth.
Same result. Yep. Just looking into the mirror for the opposite there. Yep. Both balls coming in just a touch high. I can't carry out the 4 or the 6. Cross lane at the 6. Perfect. As long as you go direct at the pin, you can usually go cross lane. But boy, if you're just either left or right of it, the oil's either going to push it back so it doesn't hook, or the ball may hook too soon. Good cover there by Mr. Eckholt.
Let's see what Michael Roberts can do for the Lynx. See if he can get it back on track.
He's been kind of fishing all afternoon too, looking for the right spot. And terrible break.
Yeah, that's a bad break.
He finally hits the. I'm sorry, Larry. He finally hits the pocket and leaves that.
Much better shot. Much better shot. And I don't know if you could read Les Amory's lips, but he looked at Michael Roberts and he said, "Go for it. Go for it."
And you know, as
I think
good as the pin action is here at Sun Valley Lanes, you could probably get something to bounce out. And I had a bowler ask me this earlier, you know, if a pin goes into the pit, but the pin comes out and hits another pin, does it count? Absolutely. If the ball goes into the pit and comes out, that does not count. Obviously, it would be a dead ball. But, you know, just trying to keep things in perspective, you know, it's only the second frame, and disaster could hit Columbus at any time.
So solid. Just so solid on picking up their spares.
Well, in the first 2 games, Larry, the 2 Eckholt boys have not missed a spare. They're clean. So they didn't lie on their bios. They are good spare shooters.
I really like the game of Sheldon Catavy. Just a freshman, young kid. He'll obviously, as he gets a little older, pick up some more speed. It's a really solid game.
Nice soft swing there.
The other, as he gets a little bigger and picks up some speed also, you watch that left hand, the position of that left hand. Watch as he finishes up here. You'll see it down by his body, and as he gets a little bit older, that handle go straight out, provide a little better balance, allow him maybe to not have that hop and be a little quicker as well.
A little more leverage, better balance the line. You're 100% right, Larry. That little hop away from the line, that cost him right there. All right, well, I think they sense it on the Discoverers bench that it's right there for them, and they could get the brooms out and sweep, sweep, sweep here. And you are correct, Larry. They are error-free, minus that split.
Just a very impressive performance by the Discoverers. That's about as close as I've seen them come to missing a spare. It wasn't that close.
Well, you know, that ball was not in the absolute center part of the lane where the large amount of oil is. It was a little bit left of center, so that's why it did break a little sooner than what we've seen. All right, it's time for the Lynx to kick it into gear here. Oh, boy.
Tried to move inside and be a little more direct, and got the same reaction, this time right through the nose.
Well, do you go for it now, Larry? I think you do.
You have to, yeah. Well, especially when you're facing a team that just does not make an error. You know, you can't afford to get count and hope they're going to make a mistake because they haven't shown they make mistakes. $19-pin lead through 3 for Columbus.
It's going to be magnified to almost 39 here if Derek Brandt can cover his spare here. Which he does. No doubt. Right wherever you need to be. You get the clinic here, ladies and gentlemen, watching at home. This is how you bowl. Cover your spares, take your strikes. Oh, man. He just threw his hands up, and what does he got to do to strike? 190 average, one of the highest averages on the team in all conference the last 2 years, and just Sean has just not been able to knock out the corners. Oh, all right, well, this might change momentum just a bit, leaving the 4-9. Good spare.
Mike's doing just about anything they can to get this crowd into it, get them going a little bit.
Just need to take a shot at one pin here. Well played.
Good shot.
Notice how he straightened the ball out there on the left side. That was what I mentioned earlier about what a lot of the professional bowlers do. Throw knuckleballs down the left side at left side spares. Takes out the margin for error. The Lynx are second half of game 3 here. Need to find a way to get it done, Larry.
17-pin lead here in the 5th frame of what could be the final game if the Discoverers can come through.
Another break.
A lot of wood.
Had a difficult spare there, the 2-4-5-8, and ends up with just the 5-pin. Everything is going Columbus's way this afternoon. A little break for Lincoln.
Yep.
And still falls. Strike.
2 more.
Les Amory didn't know what happened. He's still there. He was ready
to get him going.
He's ready to call the counter and ask for a respot.
Les points right at Michael Roberts and said, "Your turn. Go get him."
Well, all right.
That's what you need.
We've seen things like this before that has turned momentum. It happened in the Wisner-Pilger Plainview match. A couple of great breaks turned momentum. But in workmanlike fashion, Columbus keeps picking those spares up, keeps the lead. Lincoln High needs a double badly right now.
Get up.
And
Got it.
There we go. I think that
the crowd's into it now.
It's got the rooting section going there.
They just do not give up.
That's why they've been state champions
That's
3 out
right.
of the last 4 years. Oh, and a bad break there for Jordan.
Yep.
In the pocket, leaves the 5 and the 10. Ball change here for Sheldon Kadavi.
Got to hook a lot.
On a double. Not good. Coach Amory, I think, might be questioning that move with the ball change.
A little frustrated, it looked like.
Pulls out his other one that he used earlier. Ooh,
Good
just
run.
About.
Nice run by Jordan Eckel. Well, that's going to just about even it up.
Well, Lynx need a spare here.
Yeah, badly.
Sheldon should just throw his normal strike shot. Good concentration. Saw him looking at his mark there on the lane.
Great shot.
Super duper.
1-pin game, 108-107. Discoverers leading in the 7th. And the Lynx with the mark in the 8th. Gonna bring up Brandon Esch.
He's got a hook, Larry. Oh,
Good shot.
Spares up. Keeps him in the game. Boy, if Sheldon Kadavi could have struck there and gave him a 3-bagger, it would have put Lincoln in a commanding lead, but still a 1-pin game. Good shot. Oh. Just got a little nosy there at the end. He didn't. His speed was a lot less, Larry. He didn't throw the ball near as hard as he did the last few times up. I think Brandon was kind of feeling the pressure there. And another spare by Columbus.
Well, one thing Les Amory always understands about this game is that momentum is such a big part of it. And when his guys continue to get back in and get the crowd in, he understands that one momentum shift can change the entire outlook of a match.
Those of you who don't know Les Amory is not only a great coach, but he is a great man. His kids love him. You talk about coaches for football and basketball teams that would run through walls for their coaching staff, and these boys would do that for Les.
There's no doubt about it. Les was the recipient of the Commissioner's Award this week for his contributions to high school bowling in the state of Nebraska, and what a gutsy shot that was. 2-pin advantage for Columbus. Columbus on a strike in the ninth.
Lincoln needs a strike right here.
There's McGinnis.
Oh, another
again.
corner pin.
A 10-pin again.
Well, all right, Larry, right here. 10th frame for Columbus. Strike here.
It's done.
How's it look?
Pretty good. Got it. What a play. What a team.
With the exception of 2 splits, no open frames for Columbus High.
Boy.
Mark it down in the books. That's how you do it.
Well, the Lynx need to be proud of what they've done to get here, because you go back and take a look at what Lincoln High was at the beginning of the year and where Les Amory has brought them. It's truly an amazing journey for this Lincoln High squad. They had 6 kids try out for their team at the beginning of the year. 6 kids, that's all. And he has worked with them, and they struggled early in the season and were beaten down. But they made it all the way to the state finals, losing to a remarkably talented and tough Columbus Discoverers team.
And a young Columbus team. Losing just Derek Brandt, that's it.
2 sophomores and 3 juniors on this squad. And an opportunity for Brett Brow to get into the game.
Well, John Eckold is a great proprietor at Westbrook Lanes. John's been an avid supporter of bowling. He's a great bowler himself. A lot of Columbus City championships and records, and you know, he just worked hard with these boys.
You might say if they only had 6 kids try out, how do they have 7 on the team? Brett Brow, who just threw that shot, was the photographer for the Lincoln High yearbook team. He came out to take some pictures for yearbook and saw they only had 6 kids and said, well, I'll bowl with you.
Yeah, we got an extra shirt you can throw on.
Nice of him to get in there and be able to throw a shot in a state championship game.
That's it, Larry.
That'll do it. Seth Daniels got in to pick up that last spare for the Discoverers. 177-161. The Columbus Discoverers breeze through the Class A state championship. They are the champs. We'll be back to wrap things up here at Sun Valley Lanes.
Brought to you in part by the Ellen and Marcia Baer Foundation and by the Nebraska High School Bowling Federation, encouraging high schools to sanction the sport of bowling across Nebraska.
Programming provided by Nebraska Public Power District. Champions rely on strategy and talent. When challenged, performance must be strong. Goals must be clear. Commitment is everything. The Nebraska Public Power District applauds every contestant who practices with passion and fights for the win. Nebraska Public Power District, always there when you need us. Together with your local public power utility.
This program is brought to you by the Nebraska Soybean Checkoff. Soy biodiesel is a soy-based, clean-burning, renewable fuel that can be blended with petroleum diesel to reduce America's dependence on foreign oil. Soy biodiesel, making a difference for Nebraska's soybean farmers and you.
This is Terry Gross, the host of Fresh Air on NET Radio. You can learn a lot about interviewing by the things that go wrong. That's why I'll play excerpts of interviews that did not go well, along with a few that did, when I come to Lincoln's Pershing Auditorium on April 10th. It's a benefit for NET Radio and TV. After I talk about my adventures hosting Fresh Air, I'll answer your questions. For tickets, call 402-441-7766.
Don't miss the 2007 Nebraska High School Swimming and Diving Championships this Saturday afternoon at noon Central Time. Watch the best live on NET1 and NET-HD, Nebraska's home for sports.
And the state high school championships are now in the books. A long day and 8 champions crowned here at Sun Valley Lanes in Lincoln, Nebraska. The latest champion, the Columbus Discoverers. They're ready to get their awards and trophies. For that, let's go to Craig Carver.
Let's hear it one more time for the Lincoln High Lynx and the Columbus Discoverers. And now for the medal and trophy presentation. First, the 2007 Class A runner-up Lincoln High Lynx. Coaches Bill Jacobs and Les Amory. Brett Brown. Michael Selvage. Michael Roberts. Sheldon Cadaby. Justin Meyer. Sean McGinnis. And Ben Nabedy. Congratulations, Lincoln High, on a great year. And now the 2007 Class A State Champion Columbus Discoverers. Assistant Coach Rich Thurley and Head Coach John Echolt. Jordan Echolt. Brandon Esch. Justin Eckel. Seth Daniels. Derek Brandt. And Andrew McCarthy. Congratulations to the 2007 Boys Class A State Champion Columbus High School. Gentlemen, here's your championship trophy.
And congratulations to the Columbus Discoverers, the Class A State Champions. We have crowned 8 state champs today, including the Discoverers. Let's recap very briefly. The Discoverers winning it in Class A. Hastings Tigers taking the boys Class B state champion. Wisner Pilger coming from behind in an exciting battle with the Plainview Pirates in Class C. And in Class D, it was the Humphrey boys knocking off Lee. In the Class A girls, North Star beat Lincoln High in probably the most exciting match of the day. And also Class B, then it was Lexington girls over Alliance. The Elkhorn Valley girls knocked off Shadron, and in Class D, the McCool Junction ladies win their 3rd straight state championship. What a terrific day to feature high school bowling in the state of Nebraska.
This was a great setting, Larry. It's the only arena finals and the only televised finals of high school bowling anywhere in the United States. Out of the 19 states that are varsity recognized, nobody does anything like we do it here in Nebraska, here at Sun Valley Lanes. John Lucido and his staff here at Sun Valley, just a fantastic job of creating this environment, and it's been nothing but excitement.
Thanks very much, Steve. Appreciate it. That'll do it. That's in the state high school championships are in the books from Sun Valley Lanes in Lincoln, Nebraska. Lincoln High runner-up to Columbus Discoverers, who win it in Class A. So for Steve Simpek and the entire NET Sports production crew, I'm Larry Putney. Thanks very much for joining us, and we'll see you next year at the 2008 State Championships.
Coverage of the Nebraska State High School Bowling Championships is made possible in part by the Nebraska Public Power District, NPPD, always there when you need us. The Nebraska Soybean Board, encouraging the use of renewable biodiesel fuels for a healthier environment. For information, nesoybeans.unl.edu. And by the Nebraska High School Bowling Federation, NHSBF, promoting bowling across the state of Nebraska. To order a DVD copy of either the girls' or boys' Nebraska State High School Bowling Championships, call toll-free 800-868-1868 or visit the NET web store at netnebraska.org. Click on Shop NET.
This is NET2. Coming in March to NET1.
Hello, I'm Jim Lara. I'm very lucky. For more than 25 years, I've been able to do a job I love, to practice the kind of journalism that makes me proud. I couldn't do that anywhere but public television. Public television provides a home for in-depth, thoughtful discussion of the most important issues facing us every day. That's why I support PBS. I hope you will too.
Thursday night at 9 Central Time on NET2.
The world loves hip-hop, but does hip-hop get a bad rap?
Through rap music, I think there's an identification with some of the most stereotypical masculine standards.
The time we switched to gangster music was the same time that the majors bought up on the labels.
Black Death has been pimped by corporations.
Uncover the truth about manhood, race, and hip-hop in Beyond Beats and Rhymes on the next Independent Lens.
Tuesday night at 10 Central Time on NET1.
Programming on NET Television is made possible in part by Somnos Sleep Disorders Center, offering comprehensive testing and diagnosis of sleep disorders, including sleep apnea, since 1990. With clinics in Lincoln and Grand Island, our staff of sleep professionals strives to provide convenience, comfort, and personal care. Information available at somnos.com. Because everyone deserves a good night's sleep.